Many couples quietly ask themselves a question they're almost afraid to say out loud. Why don't we feel the same attraction that we used to? Today we're talking about why attraction sometimes fades in long-term marriage and what actually helps bring it back. If you've ever found yourself thinking, why do we keep having the same argument, or why does connection feel harder than it used to, you're not alone. Welcome to Marriage, Intimacy and Healing with Andrew and Lara.
We're a husband and wife team, blending science-based coaching and clinical nervous system insight to help couples understand what's really happening underneath conflict, distance, and emotional shutdown.
I'm Lara. I'm an ICF PCC certified coach and educator.
And I'm Andrew, a licensed physical therapist specializing in body, mind, heart integration with extensive experience helping high-performing individuals navigate stress, communication, and emotional regulation.
Together we help you recognize the patterns that pull you apart and offer practical, grounded shifts that bring you back into connection. Let's dive into today's episode. Consider a couple, maybe like us, juggling careers and demands and children and parenting responsibilities. The schedule is packed. Most conversations revolve around logistics and plans. I mean, seriously, sometimes it would be funny to just go through our text messages because sometimes they're so full of logistics, and then because we practice healthy connection, have like this really sweet message in there. If you're not following Andrew and Lara, sometimes I post the texts I sent Andrew on there. So you can see the sorts of things that I do to break up the logistics, but they're there as well, trust me. At the end of the day, we're physically and mentally exhausted. Do you know what's so funny? So many couples have it in their head. At the end of the day, after the children in bed, that's when sex should happen. When you have literally the worst side of yourself, the most exhausted, depleted side is when everybody thinks this is when we'll have sex, when we're married. The morning's better, if you can.
Absolutely. That was so freeing when we talked about that. I was like, wow.
Apparently, scientifically, men are more virile in the morning as well because of hormones. And so that's always a good thing to know as the years go on. But seriously, having children can be very difficult around trying to find time to actually be uninterrupted. But what can happen is at the end of the day, you're physically and mentally exhausted, and over time, intimacy. Now, intimacy, yes, we are talking about sexual intimacy, but any intimacy, even emotional or just sitting together or having a conversation that's not logistics, that kind of intimacy can become less frequent. Not because you don't care about each other. It's just because the relational environment that you're living in has shifted from connection to survival mode. So common, so frequent. If this is you, you're not broken. Reintroducing emotional closeness and reducing relational stress is what needs to happen, and it can help restore attraction as well.
Now, of course, there's not only just pressures on marriage from just kids alone. There could be other things in your season of life that are putting pressure on the marriage. So it could be a very stressful job, all-encompassing time with job, or medical issues with some family member, or something that eats your time and your time to connect to each other.
And what it feels like, no matter what stage of life you're in, the feeling of this, what we hear from a lot of the couples we're coaching is that intimacy starts to feel less natural, even foreign. Desire for each other can become quite inconsistent, or you can have mismatched libidos in this area where one wants it and the other doesn't, or both are just like, we're too busy, it's not a priority. There can be anxiety about the relationship in general and where it's at and where it's going. And of course that does affect intimacy and desire. But the emotional layers underneath this are shame often. There's all kinds of reasons you can be feeling the core emotion of shame. There can be some confusion, like what's going on? Why don't they like me anymore? Is it me? Like you might start creating a story in your head about your own body or your own sense of attraction, but also the fear of rejection. Like this has come up for us in our journey. Like if you're not just naturally falling into bed because you've been maybe married a long time and you are in a season of incredible busyness as we are, you can fear actually saying, hey, I miss you, I miss your body, I want to have intimacy with you. And of course that can lead to the other person saying no, and that rejection can be...
Yeah, and then, some people might fear the rejection, so don't go there. Or
avoid it altogether.
Been rejected once and it's just too painful, and so it just becomes no.
And then they start making up as we do. We finish the story in our head, or they don't want you, she'll probably say no anyway, that kind of thing. And
I'm glad you said
stop
that.
trying. So what's actually happening here is that attraction is influenced by more than just hormones in the physical body. It's influenced by emotional connection, unresolved resentment, stress, exhaustion. Stress is massive. I mean, goodness, it really, when you think if the body's in that place, it's often not in that place of arousal while it's in heightened stress. Yeah. It's just like that biologically is not the design of the human body.
Yeah.
But exhaustion is massive for not helping your intimacy at all. And it's often less about physical change and more about the relational environment made up of all of these pieces.
So if we talk about the body's reaction, it's really influenced by stress, but also, as we just said, emotional build-up and undealt with emotions as well. And that all really just compounds in stress. It's like, how do I deal with this thing? I've got resentment with this happening, and I can't deal with this, and then we're in the state of we haven't been intimate for this long, and I feel the stress of all that, so it just compounds and compounds. So really try and look at stress, that it's not just work and work pressure, or there are many things in my life, but it's emotional aspects as well, and how much you're connecting emotionally, because that's got a huge impact on your sex life and your intimacy and those things. So if the nervous system is constantly managing pressure, responsibilities, unresolved tension and these issues, then it's going to prioritize survival, not desire and sexual intimacy and playfulness. The feeling of safety and emotional closeness is something that helps our bonding systems in our body. Rebuilding attraction often begins with reducing stress and just restoring emotional safety together.
So we want to give you some practical tools, because we've been on this journey. Marriage is long. Like, this year's our 20th year anniversary, and we have been through all kinds of seasons in our marriage, and we know that so much of restoring and rebuilding that physical intimacy, that emotional intimacy, that there's that relational environment that you really feel like you're thriving in, comes from actually being able to emotionally regulate yourself and being able to share your emotions together, process them, and have them seen and heard. And you'll be amazed. But then some practical things can really help as well. So a repair path is the mind, the language, and the behavior shift. And we go in that way because it starts in the mind before we can shift the behavior, and the mindset needs to shift first. So the mindset shift we all need to remember is that attractional relationship, or attraction in a long-term relationship, evolves rather than stays static. If you are, as so many people are, in this place of it has to be like when we first married, or we're broken now because it's not like that, or we're broken because it's been too many weeks, or we're broken because it doesn't look like this. It is always evolving. It is not static, and fluctuation is completely normal. If that's you, let me say that again. Fluctuation is completely normal, because it's affected by what you're going through in your whole life and the seasons of life that you're in. Parenting is a massive fluctuation reason. We don't have the house to ourselves anymore. We can't just, be like we were when we first got married, where any room was up for grabs for intimacy. It's like, it is not like that anymore. We have children in the house. It's very, very different. There's certain hours that just don't belong to us alone anymore.
Take that to other situations. If some big life change happens, you move into a smaller place, it changes the practicalities of your freedom around your house.
Yeah. So just accept that's mindset. Second, the language shift, the way you speak about it. The goal here with the language shift is that you can talk about this together with compassion and honesty. And the way that we've done that, and that's really worked for us, and we know works scientifically, is to be able to just go through the core emotions together and just say, I just need to talk about our intimacy, our sex life, and I feel sad about this because blah, 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 or I feel fear because blah, blah, blah. And as I'm sharing my emotions like that, Andrew was listening, and he's not giving me still face, which is no expression. He's oohing me. He's saying, yes, babe, like,
Yeah.
I hear you, or
Yeah.
not in a fake way, but he's actively listening and he's hearing me and allowing me to express how I'm feeling, no matter how hard that might be
Yeah.
to hear. And then I have taken that back and he's shared back with me.
Yeah, it's really powerful. But what you said, which I love, is you've not pointed the finger and not said, oh, you're not doing this anymore.
It's my emotions, how
Not
I'm
this.
feeling. Yeah.
This is you're never like this anymore. And so that's accusatory, and that's going to put me into stress. That's going to put me into fight back or flight or shut off and withdraw. So that's all I language, and I would do the same. And it's powerful because it's saying, this is what's happening for me with this. Oh, I miss this. And that's more of an emotion, more of a feeling than it is when you're not performing well enough or something like that.
Yeah, and there's been seasons where we've had frustration at each other like that for all kinds of reasons. But the main thing is that it's for us, the path back to restoration here is to start with allowing each other to process your feelings, because your feelings, your emotions have messages that they're trying to give you. And emotions are motion. They come into your body and you need to just get them out. And once they're processed, you're able to move forward because you're clearing the limbic system and allowing yourself to just move forward into a better place in a new season. So one example of how you can do this together is, I think we've both been overwhelmed lately. Just as an aside, overwhelm's made up of a lot of emotions. It's not an emotion. It's made up of a lot of things. I think we've been overwhelmed lately, and I want to reconnect. Say that to each other. And one of the other things that's been really helpful for Andrew and I in this area is to actually, instead of thinking of having a sex night or whatever, that can be really pressured for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Think of having an intimacy night. An intimacy night can be, it might end up in sex, it might not, but you're spending time connecting, rather than a date night where you're going out and you're spending money and you need to pay for a sitter, and then you're coming home, you're like, now it's 10 o'clock and I'm exhausted. I don't want to have sex now. At this time of night, I'm exhausted. Again, stupid, right?
Yeah.
This is like, why are we thinking like that? It's not smart. So what we encourage is right at home, have a time in the week that can be an intimacy night where you can just say, you know what, we're just going to do something to connect, whether it's a fun game or it's wine and cheese or it is sex or it's a massage or it's a playful game, whatever it is.
Yeah. So I love that because it's not set. And it's not, it needs to be like this.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, for us right now, I mean, for you, someone listening to this, you might be like, I want to go out on a date and have sex later at night. That's
Good
great.
for you. Go for it.
So but it's the freedom to say what works for us, what feels better for us, because that gets back to, I'm restoring back to what makes me come alive and what makes me, and we can create something together rather than doing something because it got to be that way.
Because you don't realize you're stuck in a thought rut that's not serving you. So the repair path, we've done the mindset, the language. Now we're going to go into the behavior shift. Now this is where you prioritize emotional closeness first. We talked about how we do this already, allowing each other to process those core emotions and listening and actively listening to each other without trying to fix it, without going into conversation after that on how to solve it, just going, I hear you. There's so much power in that. It's so underrated and it's so powerful. It's the basic need of your spouse is to be seen by you. That is the 101 foundation of a healthy marriage. Do you see your partner? Do you see them and actually go, I hear you and I can see you and I'm validating that emotion without trying to fix it? It's hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shared experiences in this, like in the behavior, laughter, meaningful conversation, often actually will help you to reignite the attraction and organically get back to there. There are things that happen, which is interesting because I was talking to a particular client who said something that is maybe what you're going through, where she said, my husband's put on a lot of weight. I'm just not attracted to him anymore. I mean, it's the worst fear. Like a lot, as a woman, like I would feel like, gosh, if my husband was thinking she looks horrible, I don't want to be, that's a terrible thought. So I recognize there's a lot of pain. But what was so interesting is that when we started to unpack this, it wasn't actually about his weight or his physique. It was how it was affecting him. It was the emotion. They were disconnected emotionally. They were blaming the physical side, but there was so many more nuanced layers that had nothing to do with the physical appearance of him at all. It went way, way deeper. So be encouraged by that, that even if that's what you think it is, often the disconnection is far more emotional and there's a lot more going on. And you might very well have attraction issues because that ebbs and flows. To rebuild that, though, you need to be intentional. You need to make a choice. I chose this person and I'm going to put some shared laughter and experiences to help rekindle that attraction. Because sex is not built on just, oh, I think you're sexy. Because look, you might have been married for 50 years. I know older couples that have been married 50 years that have great sex. Their bodies are not 25-year-old bodies.
Yeah. It's really that there's a lot more that makes my wife attractive to me than just the looks, and she's a beautiful lady, but there's many more things. There's definitely I've experienced the intention towards me and the interest in me as a human is
arousing,
like completely it is arousing, but it just hits me deep within to say this girl loves you, and that increases it all. So it's all so many layers and multi-layers. So with all this, we've got to feel emotionally safe before desire emerges.
So many couples we talk to feel like their relationship is on a downward spiral to broken land and there is no coming back. And it's not true. Let me encourage you that you can come back. We've had a lot of different seasons. You can rebuild. Every problem you have, there are skills to learn that can help, including intimacy. Often it simply reflects the stress and the emotional disconnection. Start there before you start putting a verdict on the fact that your sex life is going to be doomed for the rest of your marriage. Because when connection returns, attraction often follows. Let me tell you this again, because some of you still don't believe me, but I know that there are many stories of that heightened dating stage where a woman's like, I wasn't, like their love story, I wasn't attracted to him at first, or he might be like, I didn't see her in that way at first. But then they start hanging out, a friendship builds, they start dating right at the start, and then suddenly it's like, I'm attracted to this person. So attraction, even at the start of a relationship, isn't always what leads. Where a lot of us get deceived here is that we watch movies that are written. Think about, this is what I think. When I'm watching a film, I think, who was writing this? A single person? Was a person that's been married for 50 years writing this script? Who wrote this script? Because the people writing the script write what they know often. If they have never experienced themselves a beautiful marriage or whatever, and they're going to write what keeps people watching. And what sells. And a beautiful, healthy marriage is not normally what you see when you're watching something. So the problem here is that you see aggression, you see colleagues that hate each other and are angry at each other, and then that anger leads to sexual attraction, and it's fiery, and you see all kinds of things that don't actually help serve the narrative of how it works in the real world, which is scary.
Yeah, and also there's little pictures in the media, pictures about what it could be like, that as you age, it's just going to get less and less and less, and we're not going to be as attracted or fiery as we were when we were younger. But we want to give you the picture that it can keep increasing and rebuilding. Restoration is possible, and it can be something that keeps growing as you get older.
We know that both from ourselves, but we've also got friends of ours who are in their 50 years married, and man, they are having regular sex. They are not scared to tell us they're having a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, they say.
So much I could share there, but they're having a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that they shared that with us, because it's like, well, goals, goodness, at 50 years, if they're going and you know what, their kids aren't at home anymore. They have heaps of time to have sex. It's wonderful for them, and more importantly, I want to change the word sex. They have heaps of time to have intimacy, whatever that looks like, to take that pressure off.
That's good.
So attraction in long-term marriage doesn't disappear, but it does evolve. It does. The question is whether couples are willing to nurture the conditions that allow it to grow again and to return or to develop and evolve into what it will be for the season that you're in. So I want to ask you this question in closing. What helps you feel emotionally close to your spouse? If you don't know, do some exploring this week and see if you can answer that. Maybe discuss it together. When's the last time you felt really emotionally connected? And if you can remember that, that might give you some intel to answer the question. You know what? If you know someone that's hurting, you've got a friend that's sharing with you that they're struggling with their spouse or their husband or wife or whatever, share this with them.
Yeah.
We would love to help as many couples as possible. Whatever platform you're on, don't forget to subscribe and follow. And if you're listening on audio, we have a YouTube channel where you can watch us chat with the view of our backyard. It's very beautiful. The trees behind us. It's our real backyard. What we do is part of the vision of Creative Restoration International, our registered not-for-profit here in the US. And if supporting meaningful work like this would mean something to you, head to creativerestorationinternational.com, where you can consider becoming a one-time or monthly supporter of the work that we do. And we thank you for showing up and being here with us.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for joining us on today's Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. If this episode supported you, we'd love for you to download our free 3-minute BMH marriage reset at andrewandlaura.com. It's the quickest way to shift out of stress and back into connection. And for deeper support and to explore our resources and coaching, you can find everything at andrewandlaura.com.
Before you go, following the show or sharing this episode with another couple really helps more people find this kind of support. And we're so grateful when you do.
We're Andrew and Laura, and we'll see you next week.